This is Justin AMZN on Wednesday, March 17th, 2021. Take a look at the 5-minute here. We had a bearish retest gap down a little bit, and then once we got above this red line, I mean, we really just stayed there. The opening 5-minute candle was really strong. Pulled back, actually put in a lower low, but the call option didn't go that much lower. The put, skyrocketed, but the call didn't lose like any value, which was really strange to see. Normally this is, getting the premium sucked out, but this low of $4 on 3,200 call, just, I mean, that was the low to be buying after it put in the opening candle. So it would have been very hard to be stopped out. If you had bought on the opening candle, as long as you're buying at 4 or lower, you could have been in this all day. You could have just held on to this call all day. I mean, you wouldn't have known that at the open, but the fact that the second 5-minute candle didn't lose any premium, it pulled back, like it was a bearish candle, but it didn't come anywhere near this low where it should have when the put is skyrocketing. So this was kind of the first thing in the first 10 minutes of the day. Something didn't look quite right, and from there, it had a little bit of a move. If you bought at 4 or lower and you were getting out, your target would have been like 7, so 4 plus 3 for a 3-hour target would have been 7. Didn't quite get up there. You would have, got to 690, but you would have been holding through all of this. Or, if you just wanted to get out and see if you could reload at 4, that would have worked. But it had a really great pullback here, right back into the same line. So this line, if you don't recall from the last couple of videos, just trying to see like what are the levels here that are working. And I had drawn in the high from Monday, and we started to cross through that. We retested into it yesterday, and I said, I'm going to just keep this on the chart. I'm going to extend this and see what happens. And sure enough, we broke through that today, but then we got above it very, very quickly and stayed above it. We actually touched that line with all 4 of these opening 20-minute candles. Sorry, all 4 opening 5-minute candles for 20 minutes of trading. We were actually touching this line. So we never really got way below it. We closed below it, yes, but then we were right back above it. And then this candle just basically closed right on that same line. So this is where it's just really cool to look at it at the chart, be like, oh yeah, that line, I have that line there. It's not a line that I had moved around or anything. It's at 30.77, 31. I don't even think I said the price. I just liked that level. And so it would have worked out great today to be buying there, at least to show that it's holding that, got back into the 21, went sideways. You've got a little bit of consolidation here, some lower highs here, slightly higher lows. But then it started to break out, got back into the highs from earlier, pulled back into the 21, and then 1 o'clock hit, and there was some FOMC announcements, and then the market or Amazon just skyrocketed. A number of other things did too, but Amazon just really moved. And if you were already in this, or if you were reloading here because it got into the 21, would have been a great place to be in this. So this price right here would have been a little bit higher. So obviously not down at 4. Could have been buying at 4 over here, held through this, didn't pull back too far. A really small candle here right before the FOMC, and even this, it moved way up, pulled back into the 21, putting a really nice hammer, and this was another really good place to be buying. So each of these pullbacks, you can almost connect a line with these. Let's see if we can actually do that. So I've not drawn this in. Let's see if we can connect something. No, it gets a little too steep. So I can kind of connect, here to here, and I can draw 3 of them, but it doesn't come back and grab it right here. Now, if we do make a little adjustment and see if we can get like closing prices, so like right on here, I'm trying to get right on like where the middle of the candle was, and then, well, that would be that close. Yeah, that's not going to do it either. So this is, oh, well, that lined up right at the end of the day. So anyway, just trying to see like where this could line up. So I'll leave that on there and see if that lines up with anything for Thursday or Friday. We'll see if we keep moving up towards 3,200, then possibly we'll be still looking at this call. For the the put. So I'm going to zoom back in on like this portion of the day because it's easier to look at the chart. This was a really nice place to be getting in right at the closing price uh, from Tuesday, buying at 8. It made it up to 11. That was a nice 3-hour gain, except for this candle that made a nice little lower wick down here. And 8 by 7 would have stopped you out. And that was right here, which this was looking like it could break out. Put a nice little wick here, false breakout, and then reversed, came right back down to this line. That would have been a good target if you didn't already have a target at 11 and weren't already out right here. So that was a nice bearish move, but you would have need to be trading that after this hammer or inverted hammer, after this candle, getting in 8 by 7 at this point for this move. Getting in at 8, target 11, stop at 7 would have worked there. It would not have worked anywhere earlier in the day. So that was a bearish move, and then I'm going to draw in, oops, come on, there we go. So you can kind of see like the channel going on here with how this was moving and kind of pulling back. So we duplicate that. You can see like not quite the low, it doesn't quite grab the low, but this is a really nice channel. So this is the kind of setup where if you see something like this, where it's kind of moving up and then coming back a certain amount and go back up, you can actually trade this multiple times. You can get in at 8 and get out at 10 and then get in at 850 and let's see, 850, maybe get in at 9, get out at 11, get in at 10, get out at 12. You can do some smaller scalping trades when something's moving tightly like this. So obviously at the start of the day or at the when I can draw this in after the fact and it works, it's more something you have to notice once you're seeing how the chart is moving. And then after this, it kind of pulls back in the same way, and that's where this one starts to play out. So this one is kind of pulling back while this one's going up, and then this pulls back over here as this one's finding support, and then ultimately has a much bigger breakout, and that's where this takes over. So this just completely collapses, and any point here that you see some resting on the put, that's where you want to be looking for, is there a good place to buy here on the call? And so that's where these kind of, comparing what's happening on the call, what's happening on the put, you can see some different levels to be getting in. And so like this stair step here on the put is saying this is going to continue lower, but you have a much bigger pullback on the call. Doesn't quite get back to this line, but still comes back to the open of this candle. I would say that's a great place to get in. So the low here is 675. If you set up an order to buy at 7 and a stop down at 6, you're at least below this candle, not quite below this one. But you would have been in 7 by 6, would have been a little bit nervous that it was going to pull back some more. Or if you had drawn this line in, then maybe you got an entry a little bit further down, or even maybe 650 by 550 just to get below this low. And that still would have been a great entry, and you would have been able to make it up to, let's see. So if you did, let's say you conservatively did 7, from 7 up to 10, it would not have filled on this first 5-minute candle, the bullish one here, but you could have, canceled out your order to hit the target at 10 and left the order or reset. Well, you can keep your stop, but you can cancel the order for the target, let it run up, get the stop up to 10, and then I think I've got it on my rule to get up to a 8-hour target from 3 up to 8. So that would have been getting at 7, new target is 15, and it would have actually been hitting on this next candle at 15. But that's the kind of move this was starting to have, that we had some massive volume come in, and then we pulled back, nice hammer here, started to continue, and was holding the 21 really well. I'm sorry, the 5 was holding the 5 exponential really well on the 5-minute and continued on up. So this is a really strong candle where we're at. And so let me zoom in on this a little bit more. So I had talked a little while back about the kind of a head and shoulders here, like this, and like a neckline like that. Wow, that pretty straight. That worked out really well. So the kind of the measured move was from here, to here. And if we measure that lower, that was going to be like around this area. We ended up going, 1.5, 2 times that, all the way down here, got back into this line. But I haven't mentioned that this actually is an inverted Head and Shoulders right here. So I don't know if you can see that, but I've been keeping an eye on that. We actually had a really nice level where we came down to the low here, and that just really helped even out the shoulders. And then the neckline is really this zone, kind of this. That's not going to be straight. So this red line or a little bit down at an angle there. Let's see. Let me go over to the 5-minute chart and go look at the hourly and see if it shows up a little cleaner. A little bit. You can see some more things going on here. So let me sketch again. So here's your shoulder, head, shoulder, and we've got a neckline like that. And so this is a breakout. So this is, just like the regular Head and Shoulders, the inverted Head and Shoulders now has a measured move from here to the neckline, which is that. And I'm going to guesstimate that our next target is going to be up here. I think our first move should be back up to this level, 32.50, but we should ultimately push up to about 33, what was this, 33.65, 33.70, something up there. But let's measure it. Let's see what these levels are at. So this level here is like 31.30, and then this is 28.80. So what was that? 250? Yeah, about 250. So add 250 to this, and you're right at, yep, you're right at 33.70. So yeah, so the measured move is going to be back up to this line, based on the movement from here to here. So here, I know I just did the math on that. Let's check it with drawing on the chart. And if we go from here to here, and then I'm going to grab this line and duplicate it, and I'm going to take that line from here back up to there. Yep, that's pretty close. So right back up to that line. So that's where I see us going eventually. If we can go there really quickly, great. But I'm going to guess that just the amount of time that it took us to do this and come down from the head here to kind of that shoulder level here, and then we had a much further move down. This went this, it took this long to do that from that level after it had completed the shoulder here, really, or kind of over here. So from here to here was that 3 weeks or so? So if we take approximately that much time, so let me draw something else. Measure this stuff out. So to go from, oops, I can't do that way. So to go from here to here in a similar amount of time would be from there. No, it would be from this shoulder to there. So that would be this time frame over here. I'm just trying to map out kind of the time frame. So it's something like that. So that's lining up here, and then this is lining up here. That would be kind of the minimum amount of time that I would think that would take from this other shoulder point to match up here to go there. So that would be, what date is that? The 30. So end of the month. 33.70 by the end of the month is what kind of the measured move and things are saying. So obviously this is not a recommendation for trading. This is just what I'm seeing in the chart, and we'll see what happens. So the other thing I've not done is noticed any sort of clean line like this that was very decisive to be like pulling us down and ultimately helped us pull down this much further. So that's something, if you want to take a look at the chart and see, can you line up something like this? I still have some of these other things I've drawn in from this week. Even if I were to grab this same point here, so I'm just going to do this, and I have not done any more analysis of this, but if I grab that point and try and connect it to some things, does it start to line up? Just because that was the last, that was the last time we touched this, and really, well, technically the last time we touched it was on the bullish candle, not the bearish candle. So let me actually put it on the bullish candle here, approximately like that. and then see what does this line up with. Does that start to connect with some of these lows a little bit? So if I extend this to the right, that points to April 8th timeframe to do something where we can move back up to this. Nope, that's the wrong level, this level. This would be right here. Sorry, I was maybe wrong. So way up here, we're talking possibly April 8th to be back up at this level. If we follow this kind of a trend up, just like we follow this kind of a trend down. So that's just what I'm seeing in the chart. I don't know that this is exact yet. It's not really holding certain values very well right now. So this is something I'll probably work on the next few days to see if we can, kind of line this up a little better with something else, or some specific, closes or open prices, things like that, that it actually really, really holds to it well. But when I've gotten some lines on here like this, they can really help, with how things, just kind of framing the trades, and even, like this one going way back here where I'd grabbed a similar price, to a downtrend like this, was able to go through some other lines, go through some other kind of opens and closes, and kind of refine this. So like as these, so this one, I had originally drawn it in somewhere in here, probably around this, but I kind of tweaked it a little bit as the candles came in, and it's like, oh, this works really well. And it, leaving it based on these candles, but lining up with these really helped. And then once we were much further past those, and you can see, okay, you can see the channel here and just extend it way out to the right. And then it came back into play way, way, way up here as resistance here. And then we broke through it and then just collapsed. And that was the last time we were inside of this channel, and that was an all-time high. So had I been trading off of this, I don't think I would have been looking for that as a target way down here. Like, oh yeah, we're just going to get back up to this in any sort of time frame. Like I would have had no idea and didn't. But to see that kind of the framework, where we've got some lines lining up. I'm not saying they're predictive or anything. I'm just saying, oh, that's an interesting level if we can get back into that. And I think that's where we're at now. So looking at this on the daily, you can see, what we're forming here is an inverted head and shoulders. And then looking at this on the hourly, you can see, oh, there's kind of this framework here. I wonder if we could do something so strong where we really do kind of make a V bottom out of here. Could these red lines form a V? Possibly. Could we stay above this? Yeah. Could we run back right into this triangle here and roll back down? Absolutely. Like any of these things are possible. But this is the framework that helps me just have an idea of what do I want to see for these trades, and then you can trade in these different time frames. So most of the time I'm spending it on the 5-minute during the videos. Here we're in the hourly, and you can see kind of the a little more of the picture of things going on. You can see that the patterns get a little more clear. You can see inverted head and shoulders here, and you can see the regular head and shoulders here a little better. It just depends on what, the way that you're looking at the chart. And so here's a 4-hour. So here's a really clean head and shoulders, and here's a really clean inverted head and shoulders. This inverted head and shoulders still looks like there's a lot of bearish candles. It looks like there's a lot more red than green. Even in this, as we're going up from here to here, there's a lot more green than red. So that's part of the pattern. Is it's like, okay, there's a lot of bulls that are trapped if this ends up turning into a head and shoulders. Sure enough, it did, and a lot of bulls were stuck on its way back down. Well, same thing, going from way up here to over here, there's a lot of bearish candles. If we start to really rally strong from here, there's going to be a lot of bears trapped, and bears being trapped means that they're going to have to buy to close their short positions. So that can also help us have a much bigger exaggerated move back up. The other thing I'll point out is the squeeze down here. We have the momentum histogram here was on its way back up from a squeeze. We didn't have a recent squeeze, but we do have the histogram moving back up on our way back up here. And so that is, just additional support that we could continue to push higher, that we have the histogram. Now it did end up dying out and we ended up pulling back. So if we do get a blue, if the histogram changes, we could get a pullback into this red line or further down through it and see, what level would we hold down there. So right now, this line I've got extended is the 3077 price that we bounced off of during the day today. We could easily come back down to that and see what happens. If we retest that, if we bounce, that'd be another touch of this same level. So that we're just going to have to wait and see. But yeah, I hope this helps with just kind of building some of this framework in the chart, and hoping that you're doing the same thing in your charts too. So this is Justin Amazon. Thanks.